Hey everybody, Deidre M here, and today we are going to talk about strip eyelash extensions. So a lot of people ask if I wear eyelash extensions, if they're strips, if I get them put on, but I prefer strip eyelash extensions because I like at the end of the night coming in, taking them off and being able to rub my eyes and really like get in there deep when I clean and all of that. So I prefer strip eyelashes, and so I'm going to show you how I put them on today because that is always the second question I get asked. First, what I have on my eyelashes. Second, how I use them. So I'm going to show you today with a pair of red aspen eyelashes, and we're just gonna go from start to finish with them. This is a new set. So the very first thing I do is I take them off of the case and I measure them to my eyes. You don't want them too long so that they like go off the edge of your eye. So I always measure them to my eye and see where I need to cut it off. You always want to make sure you cut off these little tabs on the end because you don't want those hanging off. But then sometimes you need to cut off a little bit more. If you cut from the outside, you're making it so there's a less dramatic look generally. And if you cut from the inside, you're just keeping them more full from the outside, because most eyelash extensions will go less full to more full from the inside to the out. So what I'm gonna do now, I went in and I measured it to my eyes. I need to cut off just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna go cut off on both ends. You can use any sort of like nail scissor, but I use our hair trimming scissors. It's a little bit easier. So I'm just gonna go in and cut off a tiny bit on each end, as well as those tabs. So you can see right there. Double check the measurement. You don't want it to be longer than your eyelid is naturally, because otherwise you get weird hang off on the end, and that's when they start looking unnatural. So now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do the second set. So you can see, I'm just gonna go in and cut. On the second one, you can generally guess where to cut because you've already done the first one, and your eyelids don't vary too much in size, but always double check it to make sure. Perfect. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do is you want to get your glue. So I prefer a glue that has like a painted wand on it. This is red aspen glue. Another one that I love is House of Lashes. I prefer clear because it helps for any mistakes. If you're new to eyelashes, eyelash glue I would recommend starting with is called the Duo glue, and you can find that just about anywhere. And what I like to do is get the glue and then you just paint it on. Just on the top of the strip, just like this. And then what I like to do is, some people will do one eye at a time, but I like to paint the glue on both eyelashes to start, because the secret to eyelash extensions is letting the glue get a little bit tacky. So you want it to dry a little bit before you try to put them on, instead of letting it get really, really wet. That's when they get hard to put on or they don't stay on as well. But if you let it dry a little and be tacky, then the eyelashes will stay on a little bit better. They'll be easier to apply also. So I put the glue on both of them because while I'm putting on the second one, the first one is starting to dry. So I've got my glue starting to dry on this one. Make sure that it is all the way dry, or not all the way dry, but all the way tacky. And then you're just gonna go in. I like to consider it like an airplane. You wanna go in straight to your lash line. So I'm gonna go straight in, right above my lashes, and I use my fingers. I start in the center and then I work to the corners. You can also use tweezers if that's easier for you. Some people like to do that so they can go move it without it getting on their fingers, but I just prefer using my fingernail. I push it in and I make sure it's all lined in the corners, and then I go through and I pinch everything together so that it's right along my lash line. Let that one sit for a second. And now, by the time I have this one on, this glue is at that tacky point, so I can go in and do the other. Again, you start at the center and then work your way to the corners. I always go outside corner first, then to the inside. Make sure that it's all lined, and then I pinch them together to make sure it's all cohesive and not separated. Let them both dry for a second. And there you have it. At that point, you can go and make sure that they match evenly. by pushing them so they either flare up more or point out towards the front a little bit more, and make sure that everything is aligned. And again, you can use tweezers for that. So you can go in and pinch this way. And there you have it. So this is a quick, easy way to add really full eyelashes, to really bump up your eyes and really bump up your look in just a couple minutes. And that is how I apply my eyelash extensions. See ya.